What's going on, everybody? Thank you for tuning in for yet another survival episode. I really appreciate it. Now, this one's going to be something a little bit differently. I'm going to go through, and I've been asked by a few of my friends and people close to me, "Hey, how do you play this game?" Yes, I've downloaded, yes, and to some people starting off in this game, it can be very confusing at first. So, this is going to be night one. This is going to be very basic. I'm going to break this up and do several videos for you, so that way I'm not spoiling the full experience for you guys that want to be able to figure out some stuff on your own. So this is going to be night one. I'm going to show you the basics. I'm going to get right into this. So I'm going to go ahead and unmute the sound. Now for you guys, I'm not playing this straight on the computer. I am casting this from my tablet over here. Now, what I'm doing is the reason why I'm recording it this way, so that way you can see my mouse and you can kind of see what I'm doing. So that way you're not having to completely, try to figure out what I'm doing here. So I'm going to go ahead. The first thing okay, then you're going to choose your scenario. Now, because you're starting off, I would suggest the Canyon River or the Canoeing River or whatever. And then you're going to choose Camper. That's the easiest one. Now, starting off gear, this is very simple. All you do is you just choose what, is best for you. Now, I'm not going to get into too much detail about these. I'm going to let you guys figure out what, a lot of these items do, but that's for that. For right now, though, I'm not going to choose any starting items. It's completely up to you. Okay, so getting straight into this, obviously, it'll show your scenario. You're soaking wet, your canoe capsized, but you managed to swim to the riverbank. Got to get to the town on the east. Okay, so the first thing, like I said, this is going to be night one. This is going to be these 3 hours that you're talking about. So things to go over. You get your shelter button over here. You get your fire button over here. You get your get water over here. Now, there'll be an X on this if there is no available water sources. You get your get wood where you can collect wood. Crafting, which will show all your crafting materials and tells you exactly what you need to craft. Then you have your inventory, which we're about to get into in a second. Your explorer, which for previous versions was forage, but to some of you newcomers, when you explore around, you can collect berries, you can collect, all favorable, just good items. Building snares or building traps will be located in this area right here. This will allow you to hunt or trap, I should say, because there is hunting available as well. Now, once you build this, and it triggers, it will be transferred to your inventory under your food section. So, getting into it, starting off in night one, you're going to want to go into your inventory because all your supplies is randomly generated except for the two starting the two starting gear that you get at the very beginning of the scenario. Now, if you choose not to choose those, then obviously you do not know exactly what you have on your person. Camper is a little bit more forgiving than Survivor. So Survivor is kind of like the hard, ultra difficulty, and then your Camper is a little bit, more forgiving. They'll generate a little bit more for you. So you have two buttons. You have gear and you have food and water. Now, picture this, as a backpack when you're looking down into it. You need to be able to, you get your gear over here, and then you get your food and water over here. Okay? Now, it's really easy to compartmentalize it once you think of that. Anything that deals with food or water, even empty water bottles, stuff like that, food and water tab. Anything that deals with gear tab, So, getting into this, you'll go through here, you'll see you have cooking pot, survival manual. Now, you can click on these and interact with them. Like the survival manual, you could turn the page and you can read the survival manual. Clothing, you have a chance to tear those or not. These are not things that are technically, these are craftable things, but not technically in your crafting section. So, for some of you newcomers out there, that's how you could do that. Like, for instance, your trash bag, you could braid that into rope if you want to. Now, not getting into full much stuff, like I said, I want you to be able to experience that stuff on your own. There is 3 main components that you have to worry about. There's hydration, body heat, and energy. Those are your main components in the game that will determine if you are actually going to make it or not. Now, hydration is right here. It's the blue. It says 72% hydration. Your body heat right here is actually really low. It's the 19 right there. Okay, once that reaches 0, you'll die of hypothermia. Once this reaches 0, you will die of dehydration. Now, energy, though, is a little bit different. If it reaches 0, you will not perish, because if you actually, think about it, you don't starve to death in survival situations. How it works is, if you run out of energy, you start getting exhausted. Your shelters start failing, your fires start failing, all those stuff starts, drooping away. So, since we have 2 hours of daylight remaining, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to build a shelter. Shelter is the first thing that normally is what you need to build. It'll also stop, in certain situations, it'll stop body heat from draining as fast. So, if you build a shelter, it does not actually take an hour in real time. Now, it takes an hour in game time, but not real time. So you built a shelter. That's how you build that. Now, obviously, if it's raining, you can build a rain catcher right here. And you can rest for 4 or 1 hour, depending on however you want to rest. Now, getting into the fire, because that's the next thing on your list. You're going to get wood. Very easy to do. You'll hear the snap. And see, I collected 3 wood. Now, going into the fire. There is 3 main components to fires. You need tinder, a way to strike the fire, and you need wood to sustain the fire. So, now obviously I don't have any tinder on me, which you can do if you go in to your gear and you can make some out of certain materials. I'll let you explore a little bit on which items you can make tinder out of. And you can tear the newspaper, like I said, into tinder. Now, if you go into the fire, you'll see that, I do have a ability to start the fire with a match. Now, say I don't have a match, and I go into my crafting. If you scroll down, there is ways to craft other items to create fire. For example, you get the fire plow, or you get the fire bow drill. Now, when using these items, though, you will not have the success rate of a butane lighter, a match, a magnesium fire starter, so you have to realize that you will have fail rates. So I'm going to go ahead and go into my fire. I'm going to use my match, and you'll hear it start right up. Now, you go in here and you feed wood onto the fire, just like that. Now, you can feed tinder onto the fire if you have extra tinder. Like I see, I have 1 extra tinder, and multiple tenders will give you more time added on, but obviously it's not as much as a log. And as you see, my body heat goes up very quickly. Now, it'll tell you above your fire, you have 4 hours of fire remaining. So you hit back, and you look down, right there, you'll hear the fire going, and it indicates that you have a fire going. Now, getting into the night. You can still explore and get wood at night. But if you go in here, in the starting gear, obviously you'll know that you have light sources, but you also see you have, without a light source, it'll say collecting wood in the dark. You'll have a higher fail rate because you're bumbling around in the dark. That's how it works. Now, you need fire to boil water for unsafe water. So if you go into here, go into your food, for example, you'll have a list of food, and you can interact with these foods, like a bottle, and it'll say safe water. Energy bars will tell you what you can do with the energy bars, just like that. You can make bait out of them, stuff like that. Now, going into the bait portion, when you go to build a snare, or build any trap for that matter, it'll tell you what you need. For example, you need rope, you need 2 rope, you need 1 bait, and you currently have 1 rope and 1 bait. So I would need to make 1 rope to be able to craft that, which I can right here. So if you go into your crafting section, you click on making rope, you have a chance of making rope or not. Successfully added to your inventory. Now, another part of your energy factor, if your energy is really low, is at 0, you have a chance on failing on crafting. Like I said back in the beginning of the video, that crafting or energy can really determine if you survive or live. Now, I have 2 ropes, I can build a snare. Let's see if it's successful. Yes, it is successful. So, going into my food, because my hydration is getting low, I will use my bottle of water, drink that up. There you go. It's that easy. Now, I'm going to go into my wait section and wait because I want to try to get the snare to trigger for you guys to show you exactly how to hunt or how to get food for that matter. I'll go ahead and wait another 4 more hours. See if it triggered. It triggered. See? Triggered. Now if you click on it, it'll take you directly into your food and water, and it'll tell you where it is. If you go in here to your next button, it says dead hare. Now, it says right here, furry creature, not going anywhere anymore. It'll right here, if you show it here, tells you that it takes up 8 carrying slots. That's your carrying slots right there. You cannot move if you're over encumbered. Just like Skyrim, guys, you know, this ain't bouncing around, getting around everywhere. This actually hinders you from moving. So how this works is if you cut the animal open, you will get what it contains here. You'll get raw meat, bait, and hair skin. So you cut open with your knife, and as you see, I got 1 bait out of it, 3 raw meat, and then if I go to my gear and go over to previous right there, I got the hair skin. Hair skin's good for crafting. So go back into here, and I'm going to show you something a little bit about raw meat. Raw meat has a chance to spoil. It'll spoil in 6 hours. That's fairly understandable. So that means if you have your raw meat on you and you travel or work or do whatever for 6 hours, it spoils. So to keep that from spoiling is fairly easy. You're going to go collect some wood. And you're going to make a fire. Make some tinder. Go into my inventory, and let's see if I have pack of matches. Fire. We'll start this back up again, and we will cook our meat. Now, when cooking meat, you have 2 options. You can smoke it to make it to where it does not spoil, so you can carry it. You'll get beef jerky or rabbit jerky, or yeah. Then you can cook it straight, which still gives it a chance to spoil. Oh, sorry, gotta feed my fire here. We'll still give it a chance to spoil, but it does not take as long. So we'll go ahead and cook 2, and then we'll smoke some. Done. All right. So now if you look at our calories, it's 400, which is not very high. So if you go into your inventory right here, you go to your food, you go down here, you got smoked meat right there. You can slice some smoked meat into bait, or you can eat it for 150. So that's the downside. You got something that doesn't spoil, but you're losing 50 calories per meal. So you go into your chunks of meat. See, it says spoil in 5 hours, but you get 200 calories per meal. So this is something that you're going to be eating at your campfire right there because your energy's low, not something you're going to be taking on the trail. Just like so. Which, speaking of which, going on the trail. So the point of the game is to survive, is to escape your situation. So if you go to travel right here, and you look right here, it'll say disable traps, which you can take all of your materials that you use for the trap, or, possibility could get some bait, but this time I did not. Alright, so if you go to travel again, now, this screen will not be available if you're over encumbered, or you have 0 energy, your carrying weight will go down as well, because you're just too tired to carry it. So, if you're feeling good, you want to go ahead, you could walk fast, or you could walk slow. So traveling, it takes up calories. This will take 400 calories, this will take 200 calories. So we'll go ahead and save the calories. And there you go. And you can wash, rinse, repeat, and do the various steps that I was doing, and be able to explore the game a little bit, and really get down to enjoying the game as what it is. There's tons of scenarios that you'll come across where maybe I need this, maybe I want that, maybe I want to survive faster, maybe I want to try to survive as long as I can. There's just different ways you can go in and break everything down. Explore your items and explore what the possibilities are. Stuff might get you somewhere else that other things might not, and you'll figure out the pros and cons of being able to go through and, explore with what you can do. So I'm Acros, guys. I really do appreciate everything you're doing for me. Like, comment, subscribe if you want to, and become an Ascendant today and rise with me. And join me on my ascent.